Howdy, folks. Looks like quite a few people are already tuned in. Hi there, cowpokes. Welcome to Down on the Farm. We're going to be painting barnyard butts today. Another painting with the title Butts in it. Maybe you guys tuned in to my other YouTube live event. We did safari butts. Today is barnyard butts. Isn't that fun? All right, well, we're about, it is that time, 7 o'clock. Sun is shining in my eyes. That might be a problem later. A lot of people logged in. Let me know in the comments where you guys are from. I'm in London, Ontario. That's in Canada. Hello to Daisy. I'm excited for this one too. More butts. Got my my straw hat. Well, as close to a straw hat as I could find. I got my blade of grass to chew on. Why do they do that? I don't see the appeal. Something to chew on, I guess, while you're plowing with the tractor. Nicola's in the UK. Awesome. Allison in Kansas. Cheryl, hello in Minnesota. Thank you so much for joining me. Hi, Sharon. Melody in Southern Cali. Hello. Welcome, welcome. We will go over the supplies in a moment. We'll give a few more people time to sign in, tune in, and then we'll get started. There's still time if you want to go grab a glass of water or a small snack or something. Dawn, hello in Waterford. Daisy. Yeah, I'm thinking more butts in the future, Daisy. Off the top of my head, pet butts, you know, dogs and cats. Kind of funny. What else would have funny butts? Offer some suggestions in the comments of butts we can do next. I'm thinking pet butts. Man's best friend's butts. Something like that. Could be fun. Aussie butts. Okay. Yeah, we could do like kangaroos, koalas, wallabies. That could be fun, like an entire continent of animals to work with there, right? All right, lots of people chiming in here. In Georgia, in Ohio, in Canvas, cat and dog butts. Yes, Sharon, I think that'll be the next one. Dog and cat butts. Christine's a fan. No butts. Ooh, maybe some skinny dippers in that forest. Maybe a little human butt in that one. Let me put my grass blade down. We don't need the grass blade. Bunnies, yeah, that could be like the pets. Good suggestions, guys. I love those. We'll definitely continue the series of butts in the future. Let's go over supplies, and I'll go kind of slowly if you want to like dash off and grab something. Let me do brushes first. Here's what I have for brushes. I usually have a big, a medium, and a small. My big and my medium are flat, but you could have big and medium round. You can make a round brush work. And then just like a little thin, little squirt, I call it. That's what they look like, shining there in the sunlight. I'm gonna have to close my curtains in a bit. Yep, it's coming right through the tree at me. So that's what I have for brushes. Yeah, round brushes, flat brushes. Maybe you have a fan brush and you want to give that a try. Dollar store stuff, not fancy, expensive stuff. Here is my super fancy styrofoam container palette. We will need black and white. Most, if not all, paintings need some black and some white. Here's my white, here's my black. Acrylic paint. It's called Start Acrylic. You can get it from Curry's. And then I have my 3 primary colors. So I've got my red, my yellow, and my blue. You can make so many colors from just these 5. We're going to make greens. We're going to make orange. We're going to make browns. We're going to make pink. We're going to make all kinds of colors with just these. You can definitely have pre-mixed colors, of course, and those would work just fine. But yeah, I'll be making all of them to show you that really you just need to have these 5 stocked in your house and you're good to go on most of the paintings we teach. All. That's what I have on a fancy styrofoam palette. And then I've just got a cup of water to rinse my brush, junky cup, don't use like a fancy cup, and a paint rag. You can use a paper towel, of course. That's an old t-shirt that got paint on it, became my next paint rag. The straw hat is optional. Apron, optional, very useful to have an apron on. Some kind of tablecloth, put down some newsprint, something like that. And then let's talk surface. I'm going to do it on a canvas. You could do this on a nice thick acrylic paper or just like a thick mixed media paper. I've done paintings on cardboard before. A painting on a rock. A painting on a t-shirt. Wouldn't that be great? What else? Painting directly on the wall. I've seen a painting on a husband. It's true. I've seen a painting on someone's husband's back before. Won't last long, but think of the pictures you can take. Masonite, MDF board, anything you can slap some paint on, piece of wood, anything at all. It doesn't have to be a canvas. It could be any size. What if you're using a square? What if you're using an 8x10? Like a little mini version. It would look super cute. Adorable. So grab any of those things that I mentioned that you haven't already grabbed. Grab yourself a little drink, a little juice, a little coffee, depending on the time of day where you guys are at. That sun. I might see how that sun goes down. I might get right in my eyes. Katie says corgi butts. Yes, love it. I was thinking a corgi. Monkeys, lions, emus. Love it. Buffalo, cougar, wolf. Yeah. A prairies thing. Squirrels, foxes. Okay. Big bushy tails. They look cute. I love all these suggestions. Let's rotate these. We're going to get started. So let's see. I can't get both of these in here. And then we've got that weird sunbeam. Let's shut those curtains, shall we? Let's just preemptively get the light out of here. Which curtain is it? This one? This one. That looks like the one. Yeah, I'll try to have both the example and mine in the same shot at the same time. We'll see how we do. All right. Now, an optional supply, if you would like, is to grab a pencil to do the sketch of your animals. Just like in the safari butts painting, we're going to do our sketch. I'm going to do my sketch with paint and my thin brush. If you wanted to use a pencil for your sketch, you absolutely can. I can't stop you. So I'm going to do my sketch in nice light. I might do a nice light, probably a light gray to kind of emulate pencil marks. If you'd prefer to do your sketch in a light blue, that would work too. Light, even like yellow. As long as you can see your sketch, you'll be good. So I get my brush wet. I'm going to make a very light gray. I'm going to get a little bit of black, tiny bit of black. Make a little gray, maybe over here. We don't need a ton. I'm just doing some very light lines with it. I'm going to grab a little more black. I might make mine a little bit darker than you should so that you could see at home the sketch, but make yours as light as you can so it doesn't show in your final painting too much. There we go. Hello to Julie in Toronto. I'll be heading to Toronto day after tomorrow. All right, I'm going to do a llama, a pig, and a cow. If you want to switch up your barnyard animals for absolutely any animal you want, doesn't have to be barnyard. If you want to have something wild on your farm, a zebra, you can do that. But think, yeah, emu, there's emu farms, deers, maybe a big peacock, chickens, you do like little chicken butts down here. but I'll stick with these traditional three here. The llama, right in the middle, the tallest animal, so his butt kind of front and center right here. I'm just going to make sketchy lines for the llama butt, like this, nice and big, a nice big behind on this llama. And my lines are thin, they're sketchy, it's not just like one and done. This could be easily done in pencil. And we want his, what are these, thighs? Could be his thighs, nice and plump and fluffy, something like that. And thin legs coming down. Just light sketchy lines, no thick globs. No thick globs in the sketch. We want this to dry so we can paint over these sketchy lines with the colors we want. And then they have like a little hoof foot. I'm just gonna end it like as a rectangle shape for now. But we can add that kind of hoof toe, back toe detail a little bit later. So mine are kind of straight. If you want to have kind of like impression of a knee, sort of a knee shape, you can kind of do like a slight bulge, slight rounded bulge, halfway-ish down. That could kind of be where the knee will go. I want to make this kind of poofier. But this will all get covered up with like other colors. A poofy tail. Yeah, nice poofy tail, covering up the bumoli there. Something like that. And a nice long back of the neck. Back of the neck. Let's see, I gave him a bit of a mohawk at the top of his head, it looks like. A little mini mohawk. And big ears. Big ears. So let's see, this is the head. Big ears. And they don't even have to be like a mirror image of each other, these ears. If they're a little off, that's all right. They do not have to be identical ears. This one's a little taller than that one. That's okay. That's all right. Yours might be a little shorter than mine. No worries. Yeah, all these sketchy lines gets covered up with other colors, then that lovely black outline to kind of tidy it up. It's gonna look great. Okay. Other butts. I've got a pig butt, kind of a short pig. About halfway. Say that's about halfway. Lower than halfway. So nice round pig butt shape. My sketchy lines. And yeah, we kind of want those nice round cheeks. Those nice hams. Those are going to be some good hams. And yeah, I've got kind of short, stocky, thick legs on this guy. Thicker than my llama legs for sure. And I'm just ending it as like a rectangle shape at the end, but we will add hoof detail a little later, a little kind of back toe. And what would a pig butt be without that curly tail? Curly tail, let's see, went with one loop. Let's see, narrowing. one loop, and it loops. This one has the loop in front. You could go behind. This one is going to go behind. But this is just kind of a rough sketch. We're going to tidy it up with some black later. Here's my curl. You could try to get a couple curls in there, but I think one says it all. It's a curly pig's tail. That's pretty good. And the cow behind. So the cow is taller than the pig, maybe about here. Not quite so tall as the llama. Maybe about here. Yeah, that looks good. Very bony along the spine, along the hips. So I'm going to start with sort of a triangle, a little mound, rounded triangle, bony hips. Bony hips on this cow. And a nice round body. How far down do I want to go? Maybe about there. Nice and round. And I did kind of like a tan brown cow, like a Jersey cow kind of look. You can do black and white if you want to do a black and white spotted cow instead. Definitely do that. Where am I going? Where am I going? I don't even know where I'm going. Ignore that line. You want kind of the udder peeking out about here. So the legs separate and you see that udder hanging down. And thin little legs. Thin legs with like a knobby knee. A little knobby knee and then down. Knobby knee. And then this gap is where the udder is going to hang down. So this big, deep V shape. Get some pink in there later. Nice udder. And I've done two teats. Two little, I guess you'd call that like a sausage shape coming down. Got two little teats. I have four, but those are more in the front, so we don't see them as much. And then we've got a nice long tail. Mine kind of swishes over to the right. You could swish yours to the left. Could be more straight down. Let's go like this. Maybe mine is going to flip up. I might have the cow tail flick up. Maybe he's swishing a fly or something. This one was more down. This one's more flicking up. Yeah, so this version will be different from this version. And yours at home will be different. That doesn't mean it's wrong. Everyone has a different style, and you'll even see differences in my two paintings. And we love to celebrate all those differences. We love seeing all the variations, putting in some different colors, different animals. I love seeing those. So that's it for the sketch. We don't really need to add other details like the little hoof details, the toe things, all these extra little black lines I've added. We'll just do that with the black. So we don't really need to sketch that. Double check if you have any thick globby sections that are going to take a long time to dry. Just spread them out. If you have a thick glob, just spread it out flat so it'll dry faster. Pretty good. That's a little blobby. Spread it out. But this will, like, yeah, this whole thing is dry already because we did it first. We did it thin and light. That's nice and dry. Give that little guy a rinse. A little rinse. We are going to work on the background a little bit, and then we'll work on the animals, and we'll kind of go back and forth between background and animals while layers dry. So I've got big or medium as options for filling in the background, depending on how big your canvas is, how big the negative space is. Judge according to what you're working on, just because if I'm using the big one, you don't have to use your big one if you prefer to use the medium to work in the area you're working in. And feel free to interchange too. Don't feel stuck using the exact brush I'm using. I'll probably use the big one to start some big areas of the sky. And if I have to get into little tiny areas, I can easily switch. So I did kind of a crisscross. There's crisscross marks in the sky. Light blue, dark blue, maybe a little white. If you'd prefer a more smooth finish to a blue sky, you absolutely can do that. You can have a nice smooth blue sky. I just like kind of that crisscrossy, sort of looks like plaid maybe thing I was doing just for fun. Just for fun. Absolutely do a smooth blue sky if you want. And then we're going to do the clouds later, and the clouds is finger painting. I love the finger painted clouds. I'm going to use my bigger brush. I'm going to get it wet. I want to make a lovely sky blue, so I'm thinking a little white, grab some white. Here's my blue. I might do sort of equal parts blue and white here. And I kind of purposefully don't fully mix it, because then I can get little patches of white, little patches of blue, and it could be already well on its way towards becoming that kind of patchy blue and white sky. Yeah, so even if it's not fully mixed, I'm not mad at that. There we go. So this direction or this direction. So crisscrossy brush strokes. White gaps are okay if you have a few white gaps. That will all add lovely texture. And we're going to go halfway or a little more than halfway for the blue sky, maybe about here. What is that? Not quite 2/3. But however high you want the, sunflowers and the grass, if you want this to be higher, then do less blue. If you want this and this to be lower, then do more blue. Crisscrossy. Yeah, there's little bits of dark coming off my brush bristles. There's little bits of white coming off. It's not perfectly mixed, and that's fine. If you go a little bit onto your sketch, that's okay, but try not to. But we're going to be painting in our animals, and that could cover up any little blue intrusions. How far do I want to go with that? Maybe about there. I'm going to go about this high. Blue above that line. Crisscrossy. When I re-dip for more paint, if I accidentally on purpose grab a little bit of dark blue with that medium blue on purpose / accidentally, that adds more streaks of different shades of blue in there. Everyone's skies are going to be different. So don't compare yours to mine. Don't compare yours to someone sitting next to you. You're painting your sky in your world. This is your world. try a little darker blue. Some darker blue crisscrosses. Get some white. I can just dip right into the white. Try some white crisscrosses. Even dipping in a little water. Dipping in a little water and then kind of filling in some of those little texture gaps from the canvas itself. Those little bumpies that don't want to get filled in. Have a little water on the brush, a little water, and that'll help you fill in those little textured spots. And get to your edges. If you want to paint like the edge, you can do that too, like this edge. I usually don't. I would think maybe like 90 or more % of my paintings don't have the painted edge, but sometimes it's nice to paint the edge if you want. We are going to be putting some clouds on top of here, so don't worry about making the perfect crisscross pattern. Some of it's going to get covered up. So really just have fun. Just have fun filling in all these gaps and don't worry about it too much. Now we are doing a live feed. This is live. If you fall a little behind, you can always pause the live feed. Yes, you can pause this, or even rewind. You can set back the playback. Just set it right back to listen to something again, watch something again. It is amazing what we can do on YouTube Live. And this video will be on our channel, on our page here forever. So if you get called away, or maybe tonight you're just watching along with me right now, and you want to attempt this tomorrow or later, the video will always be there for you. Get some darks and lights in there. I'm starting to get pretty full here. Sometimes I like to pick up my painting. I pick it up. I hold it away from my body. Hold it at arm's length, or you can stand up and walk a few paces away from your painting and just see, do I need more dark blue on this side or dark blue on that side? Do I need more white here or there? Just getting a little further away from your painting helps you see it in a different light, from a different perspective. A little bit more. Whoops, I got a little. Where did that yellow come from? A little yellow in there. Whoops. Yep, there's a lot there. That's pretty filled in. I'm happy with that. I'm not going to fuss too much about this area. There's going to be flowers and things covering there, so don't get too fussy there. That's pretty good. Know when to stop too, because I could play around with that all night. That's pretty good. Give that brush a good little rinse. So if you're not quite ready for the next step, just hit pause, and then you can unpause and go at your own pace. It's wonderful. Okay, so I would like to do some of our greenery down here. green grass. Will I use this brush or will I use this brush? I might use my medium down here, but you can use the big one. I just know I'm going to get like in between these legs and things, so maybe this medium is the best for that. So if you do have a green paint bottle, paint tube, you have your own green, you're already a step ahead of me. I have to make some green. We learned how to make green in kindergarten, blue plus yellow. And I'm going for kind of a medium green, not too light, not too dark. Lime-ish green. Let's see, I'm going to get a little bit of blue. Blue is very potent, so I'm not going to grab like a whole scoop of blue. Here's some yellow, blue and yellow together. Start with just a little blue. You'll be very surprised how far that blue will go. So there's kind of that's a little bit light for what I want. I'm going to add some more blue. A little bit of blue at a time so you don't go too dark. And I'm making quite a bit of green here because I know I have to paint all here with green. So don't be stingy on the amount of green you're making. Okay, that's pretty good. You can always give it a little test. Make a color, put it on here. You know, is that the color you're thinking, or are you thinking a little darker? I'm thinking a little darker, so I'm going to grab another bit of blue. Mix that up. Yeah, that's kind of the green I'm looking for. Yours could be lighter or darker. Any color green. If you want it more emerald, have quite a bit more blue in there. That's not bad. So I'm going to fill in all this, you know, between the legs, all this in between here with green, and doing like kind of crisscross, zany brush strokes. If you would prefer a more smooth finish, you could definitely do that, but I just kind of like that texture of brush strokes going every which way. Again, I'm going to try to not get a lot of green into my sketched area, but if some does, it's okay. We're going to paint over it, so that'll help tidy it up. Yeah, crisscross, any kind of brush stroke direction here, just to give it some texture. Again, if little bits look lighter or darker, maybe there's a little bit of yellow that's unmixed. There's a lighter patch or a darker patch with more blue. That is ideal. I like that. And I'm still not leaving a lot of thick globs. Same with the sky. If you do have thick globs in the sky, maybe take your brush and kind of smooth them out. But still, not a lot of thick globby paint down here. All pretty thin, spread out. So this will dry and we can do lovely dabs of flowers. Sometimes if I'm like right near the edge, the bottom edge, and I'm using an easel, there's a little lip. You pick it up to paint down here, or you can completely flip it around if it's easier for you to paint up here. Flip it upside down. Usually I like to paint flat on the surface of the table. So if it weren't for me having to demonstrate to you, this would be flat on the table. I think it's just more sturdy that way. So there's a little area that looks a little darker because I had a little unmixed blue hanging out there, but that's okay. Color variations are great. And I will dab in, when I've filled all this green in, I will dab in maybe a little yellow, maybe a little blue, just to give it a little more variety. So maybe you're already ahead of me. You've got all your green filled in. Try adding a little bit of yellow. Add a little blue here and there. I sort of have all my hoofs sort of lined up, but if yours are, not lined up, that's okay, because the animals would be on different parts of the field. Do I have a Canadian accent? Like hooves. Does that sound weird? Hoofs? Hooves? Do I sound Canadian? Because I don't think I say paint some hooves, eh? There we go. So mine's kind of, there's little visible brush strokes, a little bit of texture here and there. Maybe, yeah, there's little white bits. I'm not too worried about little white bits showing. Those are fine. So I'm gonna just gonna dip my dirty brush. It still has some green on it. Just grab a little yellow on the dirty brush. Throw a little yellow here and there. Just mix it up. Grab a little blue. Grab some of this blue on my dirty brush. And you throw some blue, and it'll mix with the green. Just to make little slight color differences here and there. Of course, there's going to be more stuff on top of this, so a lot of this gets covered, but I still put that effort in. Here's my messy green brush strokey texture, and then I have just the hint of stems for the sunflowers in the distance. The hint of stems right here. I just flicked some green kind of upward all the way across. So I'll do some here, 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 here. Green, light green, dark green, any kind of green. And then I'm going to use like the thin part of my brush. I'm holding my brush up and down, not wide. I'm not holding it wide and going up. I'm turning it so it's the skinny part. I'm going up, 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 up. So it's going to look like grass. It's going to look like grass, but it's meant to be stems in the distance. They don't have to be straight. They don't have to be perfectly thin. It's just the impression of stems in the distance. It's going to get covered with flowers. You hardly see them, but they're there. We're putting them in. That's pretty good. Yeah, and look how much we've already covered, like, what, 70% of the canvas with paint, and we've only been at this for half an hour. Give that brush a little rinse. We're all done with the green. A little rinse, a little wipe. Bunny butts, corgi butts, just butts. The whole chat is just butts. I love that. Okay. Yeah, because we've done everything kind of thin and wispy, my sky is already starting to dry, which is great. We're going to start filling in our animal colors, and I wouldn't want too much blue to smear into the colors I want for the animals. So it's good that it's drying or fully dry. It's pretty good. Pretty good. If you, oh, I hit a wet patch. If you feel like your sky is very wet and you want a little more time before you start painting the animal colors, hit pause. Easy peasy. I think I'll paint, yeah, pretty much all of my animals. I'll do it with my medium brush. It's a good size, I think. Medium brush, because I could even get those skinny legs with the medium brush if you turn your brush vertically versus the wide. So pretty much do all these with the medium brush. And this big brush is pretty much retired for the painting. Retired for now. So llama, I've got kind of a off-white llama. Llamas come in many colors. Gray, black, brown, pure white. Mine's a little kind of a creamy yellowy white. So that's what I'm going to do today, but you can definitely change the llama color to whatever you like. Anything at all. So mostly white, but I'm going to add a little yellow into that. And I might add a little, well, we'll see. Might make it a little browner. White, here's a bit of yellow. So I guess I can hold it this way. It's a very, very light yellow. I'm going to add just a scooch of, I'm going to add a tiny little bit of red. Tiny. It's going to look a little creamy. Like a peachy, yeah. And then to that I might add the tiniest scooch of black, but I mean tiny. Wipe that off a little. Tiny bit of black. Just to dull it down a tiny bit, but that was like the size of a sesame seed of black. Just kind of toned it down a bit. It's hard for the camera to really pick up the true color I've got here. Like the color of a banana, not the outside of the banana, but the inside. And I can give it a little test on here. Test it out on your surface, because it looks different on the palette than on the actual surface. Yeah, I kind of like that color. Yellowish, creamy, off-white. Fill in your llama. Yeah, gray would be a nice llama color. A nice light brown, a nice chocolate rich brown would be a nice llama color. You can do a purple llama if you want, a psychedelic spotted llama, anything you want. When we did our safari butts, we didn't paint the elephant gray. We painted it a bunch of rainbow colors. The zebra, it wasn't black and white. It was every color. So if you wanted to go with that kind of a painting scheme, that applied to the barnyard butts, that could work. So even a little of my sketch is showing through, but that's okay. We're going to have other streaks of colors. We're going to have black. So don't worry if a little of your sketch, your underpainting is showing. I'm not worried. You shouldn't be worried. Yeah, and if it's a little messy, sort of near where the green grass and the creamy llama meet, if that's a little messy looking to you, don't worry. The black lines help tidy up, cover up those areas. So I'm not going to stress about making a perfectly smooth edge there. You can smooth it out to a degree, but don't spend more than 2 minutes on it. Is my llama neck even centered? My llama's neck is a little off center. Did you notice that? Because I'm kind of drawing and painting on the side. I'm over here. I'm not like in the front of it. So he's leaning a little this way. That's okay. I gave him some spiky hair on the top of his head a little bit. A little mohawk. Big ears. Yeah, he's leaning this way. That's all right. So looking at this painting, he seems shaggy, and I achieved that with the black I did after. So we don't really have to make the outside of him shaggy right now. He could be smooth, and we could add shaggy marks with the black, with a little brown after. That'll help make him seem shaggier. But if you did want to like kind of do a few of these creamy lines like on the outer edge of his body, you can, but it's not really necessary yet. So that's just kind of like a nice, even, thin coat, no thick globs of a lovely llama color of your choice. No thick globs, that is key. That looks good. And we don't need this cream color for anywhere else. I'm going to give that a rinse. Give that a rinse. So that's just the first coat. We will add other little colors, little details in a bit, but the first coat on these guys. A lovely pink pig butt. Mine's kind of like a bubblegum pink. You could do any kind of pink you want. I think in real life, pigs aren't as pink as that. A little more of a dulled down pink, but still pretty pink. I'm going to make some pink with red plus white. So I'm going to get a little red, because red goes a long way as well. Here, where am I going to make my pink? This is my pink area. Red and white is pink. We just need enough for this little pig butt here and a little for the udder. So I'm not going to make tons. But if you do make a lot, that's okay. We're going to add pink flowers later, so you can use up that pink for the flowers. How pink do I want this guy? So there's some pink here. I might test it out a little. Yeah, that's not bad. Give your pink a little test. You can lighten it with white. You can darken it with some more red. I'm going to go, yeah, that's pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and paint my pink pig butt. Pink pig butt. And we can just paint over that tail. We can re-add the tail detail with the black. And you can still, I can still sort of see it through the pink. Nice, smooth, even coat, no thick globs. Nice, thick, piggy legs, sturdy legs. Yeah, so we've kind of lost that tail detail, but you should still be sort of able to see it through the paint or just know where it was, and we can add those black lines in later to help us with that. So that's the first layer of the pig. We will add some white later as a little highlight. We'll add a little darker red, kind of like a shadow situation, but that's just the first layer. The first layer. While we still have pink on the brush, we might as well do the udder, the cow udder. If you feel like your udder should be maybe a slightly darker pink than your pig, you can add a scooch more red. Right in there, right in that deep V section, right in there. And those two teats. A pink udder. We will use some pink later in the flowers, but I will give that a rinse. We'll make some brown. Now, if you have a tube or bottle of brown at home, use that. It'll be a much nicer brown than the brown I'm going to make. Yeah, it's hard to make like a rich chocolatey brown with the primary colors. So mine will be more like a baby poo brown, if you know what I mean. Nice warm brown. Kind of borderline orangey brown. A Jersey cow color is what I was going for. Okay, if you're still working on your pink, keep working on the pink. You can pause, of course. I'll show you how to make brown. Now, there's a couple ways to make brown. I could mix red plus green together to make brown. You can mix purple and yellow together and make a brown, or blue plus orange. Could make a brown, pretty much like the complementary colors, opposites on the color wheel. Make brown. A good way to make brown that I'm going to show you here with this brand, I'm going to make orange. I'm going to add a little black. So if you remember Halloween colors, Halloween is like orange and black, right? Try that out with your brand of paint you have at home. I'm going to bring some yellow right here, yellow plus red, a little bit of red, a lot of yellow to make my orange. So here's an orange. Much more yellow than red. There's my orange. And then we're going to add black, orange and black. Halloween colors mixed together will make a brown of a sort. So you see it start to change as soon as you hit it with that black. So try that out with your brand of paint you have at home, orange plus black. If that doesn't quite work out for you, try making, well, we still have green. You still have a little bit of green from before. Green plus red makes a brown. Try that. So there's a brown. I don't know if the camera really picks up what I'm looking at versus what the screen shows you. So it's the kind of chocolatey, milk chocolate versus dark chocolates. Kind of lighter. I'm going to add a little white to lighten it. A little white. Tint it with some white. And your cow could be any color brown, or not even brown. What if you want to do white? You can fill that in white and add black spots. Easy. It could be a black cow. What if your farm has black cows? Right, so that's the color I've got with the brown mixed with a little white. Let's see if I like the color. It's not bad. I might add a scooch of yellow. You can add a little yellow, brighten it up a little bit, add a little red, warm it up a little bit. Teeny tiny bit more black to darken, but don't go too much black. Yeah, I like that brown. That's not bad. Yep, I'm gonna go ahead and paint my cow butt brown, and I'm going right over like the tail detail. I went right over that. We're gonna add that detail back in. When we're doing our black lines later on, I'm going to be doing the black lines with black paint. You could do these black lines with a black Sharpie or something similar if that would help you make finer lines, more even lines. But I kind of like wonky lines, thick, thin, not perfect lines. Kind of adds some more character to the painting. Black paint pen. There's paint pens out there in acrylic or oil. That would work. A nice Sharpie would work. But yeah, I'll show you with black paint on my small brush. But if you want to get some other kind of art medium involved, making a mixed media piece, you can. Cow, you're just too far away from me. You gotta come closer. Do you suppose chocolate milk comes out of this brown cow? So this brown is darker than that one. I'm okay with that. Smooth that out. No thick globs. No thick globs. Yeah. That's cute. Do I need brown? Oh, we are going to add a little brown to our llama, so I'm not going to rinse out my brush just yet. Keep a little brown on the brush. Yeah, we can add some little details of furriness to our llama. Let's see, a little more. Yeah, little streaks, little flicks of brown, mostly around the outside, just to give it a little bit more furry texture. So I'm going to use the brown that's on my brush because I've got this flat brush. I can make thin lines like this. But if you'd like to use your small brush, switch to your small brush and do little flicks here and there with your small one. Do it. Little bits of brown near the outer edges. A little bit coming down the leg, maybe around the tail. You can still sort of see your sketch underneath. A bit of brown. Anywhere. You can't overdo this. If you do like a lot all over the place, that's fun. That's like a fun fuzzy texture on him. You can go really wild with little marks all throughout. Yeah, barely any paint is coming off my brush. There's just so little paint left. Just little marks. Fuzz them up a little bit. A little fuzzier. There. It's starting to look more 3D. Just a little bit more. Yeah, you can definitely have more than I have or less. That's a good amount for me, I think. You be the judge of yours. That's a good amount. Am I done with the brown? Yes. Yes, I'm done with the brown. Give it a little rinse. I love these colors. There's some great colors. And then when we add the flowers, the floral details, just sets it right off. So we've got some brown on there. Let's get a little, I've even got a little bit of yellow, a little bit of white on my llama. I am going to switch to my smaller brush, get a little white, and do the same thing. Little streaks, little strokes. I'm going to put some on the tail, on the head, just to give it like a fuzzier texture. There's some on the tail. Maybe a little on the neck. And it's white on cream, so it's tough to see with the white on the cream. But you'll see it when you do it, because you're close to your painting. And people will notice it when they're seeing the art. They'll see those little details. White on cream. Even if you've done like a darker llama, having little white little hairs here and there is still good. Little highlights. Anywhere you want. On these lovely fluffy thighs. Down the legs, you have a few white ones. But I'm not going to go too wild. Yeah, I think that's all the white I'm going to do. It's subtle. White on cream. Does the camera really do it justice? A little bit. A little bit. I still have white on my brush. I might as well add a little bit of white along the top of the pig. So where do I have my sun? My sun's over here. So maybe I'll do white. It's almost a dry brush. It's not thick blobby paint I'm putting on here. Almost a dry brush. Very little paint. Oh, what are we stuck on? A little bit of white along the top. It could be a little messy. Mine's a little messy. Some of the pink still shows through. That's fine. Very little paint. Let's see. Could be a little on the legs. Could have a little white. Maybe the white. Sunlight's coming this way, so maybe white along here. The right side, as it were. Barely there, barely there. I do eventually want some white on the tail. It's just tough to see where the tail is right now. Yeah, if you can see your own tail, like I can sort of see my tail through the pink, we can add a little bit of white on the tail. But if you want to wait to do some white on the tail after you've outlined it, with some black, that would be very sensible to do as well. There's a little white on my tail. But that could be done a little later if you wanted to. Okay, there's some white on my pig. There is some white on my cow as well. Is the brown. It's a little tacky. A little tacky. You could still add some white even when the brown is a little wet, and it might make like a slightly light brown. That's fine. The highlight of the cow would be kind of light brownish. So sun's coming from above, so kind of the whole spine, hip bone area. Get some white along the top of all that. Sun shining down. Again, very little paint on my brush, almost a dry brush application here. I've got a little white on his tail, just to help highlight the tail. On both sides, maybe. Got a little bit kind of along his legs, but it's very little on the legs. And a little bit on the, I've got mine on the outsides. The light's coming from above him, so it's a little more tricky to decide what side to do it on. But not too much. I think that's it for the white that I'm going to do on that guy. I did mention a little yellow on my llama, and there's also a little bit more darker pink on the pig, so we'll do those. A little bit of yellow on my llama. Now my llama has kind of like a yellowish, creamy tone to it, so if you did a gray llama, this would look a little weird with yellow. If you did a gray llama, I would maybe add some fun little streaks of like light blue. If you did a brown llama, maybe some darker brown or maybe even a little red. But I'm just doing a teeny little smidge of yellow here and there. Very minimal. Yeah, that's pretty much all I'm going to do on the yellow. Can you even notice it? It's pretty darn subtle. Pretty subtle. Just little bits of yellow and then a little, slightly darker pink for a little bit of shading on these hands. So I've got some red here. I can add it to my existing pink to make a darker pink. A little red. Here's my hands. Yeah, it's making it look more like cheeks, the rump. There could be a little of this on the tail if you have some room on the tail to get a little darker pink in there. My tail's pretty thin. And along the legs a little bit. I'm going to go down the left side of the legs. It's kind of like a shadow. Mine's pretty wispy, pretty sketchy, not solid. Very little paint. It's looking more rounded cheeks. I might add a little of this dark pink while I have it on my brush. A little of the dark pink on the udder. The udder is pink. And yeah, I'll just add a little darker, like along the bottom. Along the bottom of the udder, just to make it seem more like a sack. The sides here, maybe it would be darker because it's between the legs. The shadow of the legs, maybe. Yeah. It seems more like a sack. Pretty good. Now the black really helps define these animal shapes because they look kind of like wishy-washy right now. The black is going to really make them pop, stand out. Okay. What do we want to do next? I kind of want to work on our, what's the word? Sunflowers. Those sunflowers. The black will be one of our last steps so that we can, if any sunflower goes a little beyond the edge, we can cover it with some black. Yeah, sunflowers are fun. This isn't meant to be a detailed sunflower. This is far in the distance, tiny, the impression of a sunflower in the distance. So I'm going to use my little brush for the sunflowers. My yellow. We do want yellow sunflowers. My yellow is very see-through. So if I just took plain yellow and put it on this blue or on this green, it would turn green itself because it would be see-through. So I'm going to get some yellow. I'm going to add some white. White plus yellow. White plus yellow. We don't need a ton of this. These are very small and thin. I guess I can rotate it this way so you can see what I'm mixing. White plus yellow. It still is a very yellow. It's not like pastel. But the white in there helps it be more opaque. Yeah, white plus yellow. Trust me, it'll be much easier to cover up the blue and the green with a little white in there. Yeah, I just kind of make like a starburst shape. It doesn't have to be perfect. These are in the background, they're in the distance. No one's looking all that closely at them. They could overlap a little bit. Yeah, these are far from perfect. Different heights, different sizes, big, small. And it might seem unnatural that all my sunflowers are facing one direction, but that sometimes happens in sunflower fields. It doesn't make sense in this particular field because the sun is over there, so they should be facing the sun, but this isn't realism. Shocking. Never been big on painting realistically myself. I do appreciate a very nice photorealistic painting or drawing though. Where else do I want some? As many of these as you want. Maybe you have more space between the animals. I have not a whole lot of space, so I can only fit 3 or 4. But you might have more space, so add more if you like. I want to add a few more here and there. High ones, low ones. Again, I like to hold it away from my body. Hold it away, look at it from a different perspective, step back. Does it look balanced or need, a higher sunflower, a lower sunflower here or there? I need to put one maybe in here. I'll be pushing it, but I'm going to do it. Stick one right in the legs there. Peeking out there. Yeah, I think I'm satisfied with the amount I have. Yeah, so my yellow is still like a little bit see-through. Do a second coat, a light coat, just to kind of boost up the yellowness of your sunflowers. But these are just background filler. This is not the star of this painting. This is just to fill the space. And we will put some brown middles on here to complete the look. Yeah, I'm happy with those, that amount. A little brown middle. So we have a little brown still hanging around on our palette. Just a little smudge of a middle. It could be messy. Doesn't have to be perfectly round. Yeah, just a hint of a middle. These are off in the distance. They're not going to be very crisp. Yeah, they do look a little like sunflowers with that middle. Without the middles, people might think they might be daffodils. They're very subtle brown middles. Way in the distance. Okay, I'd like to work on our sky. Our sky is a little cloud action, and then the impression of a sun with the rays. There's not really like a visible sun itself. If you wanted to do a yellow sun anywhere, you can. I just kind of did the impression that the sun was shining through the clouds without actually doing like a yellow circle. We are not going to use our brushes for the clouds themselves. We're going to use our fingertip, one or two of them. Dab some clouds. It's a fun way to make clouds. I've done it a lot. Get a little paint on the finger, not too much. Don't do too much on the finger. Most of my clouds are sort of billowy on the top and flat on the bottom. Most of these clouds have a flat-ish bottom and then kind of like triangle billowiness on top. Let's start over here. Dab. So we can do dabs with our finger or little swirls, little circles, little swirls. So sometimes I'm dabbing, sometimes I'm swirling. And just play around with it. If you make like a cool cloud shape by accident, don't obliterate it, leave it there. And you just kind of build upon it. So sometimes I'm dabbing, sometimes I'm swirling. So the bottom's kind of flat, billowing up, roughly in a triangle. It could be a couple triangles. There could be some blue patches showing through. That's fine. Some clouds are a little more see-through. And just play around with it. If you like what's going on, just leave it there. Don't keep playing with it. Don't overwork it. Bring it down. I like my clouds to kind of trail off on both sides. Get real skinny and kind of trail off. Yeah, it's like a little mini cloud up here. You don't have to do the same amount of clouds I did or the same positions. Make your clouds your own. This is your world. Sometimes I do little small draggy marks underneath, like a small wisp underneath. What else? I don't want to do too many. I think this might be my last cloud. But if you want to have your whole sky just chock full of clouds because you're having so much fun with it, go for it. Isn't that a fun way to make clouds? And look how quick. I'm sure you've struggled with a brush to get that cloudy texture and it didn't turn out how you wanted. Maybe this is the technique for you, your fingertip. Little dabs and little squiggles and circles. quite like that. I want a little wisp here. And kind of like lightly drag your finger for like a little wisp. I quite like that. I'm gonna wait till after we've done the black before we do the beams, because I want like the sunbeams to be shining on the animals, and it would look odd if the black outlines were above the beams. To wash my fingers, I just dip it in my paint water, blot it on my rag, or you can go to the sink if you want to wash up in the sink. Some people don't like paint on their fingers. My head's getting really hot. Ooh. Can't wear that anymore. Too hot. All right, we're doing good. Yeah, we're doing real good for time. We just have the outlines and then the dabs of the flowers, which are so fun. So fun, so fast to do dabs. And yeah, they're not actual flowers. We don't have to spend ages and ages making flowers. They're literal dabs. All right, I'm going to do thin black lines with my thin brush. If you prefer to use a Sharpie at this point, go for it. A paint pen, absolutely. I like to mix water with my black paint. Water. Just so it's a thinner acrylic paint, not so watery that it's like watercolors. Just water down some of my black paint. And then if you have a brush that maybe isn't as pointy and thin, maybe yours is a little bit like flayed out, to get my bristles to go back together, I roll my paintbrush in my paint. Roll it. Roll, 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 to help those bristles go back together, so you can get thinner lines. But yeah, a little water helps you get like smoother, longer, thinner lines. We'll put that paint there. So we're outlining pretty much everything that we did in our sketch earlier. All those gray lines we made. Outline with black. And outlining with black is not for everyone. You don't have to do it if you prefer not to. It does give it kind of a cartoony look, which I like. And some of my lines are thick, some of my lines are thin, broken lines. It's all good. Oops, a wiggle. That's just an extra wrinkle. All right, so I'm looking at these hoofs. We'll add some details to the hoofs together here. Let me first outline them. So hoofs are outlined. They have this like pointy back toe situation on these guys. So this is like a V shape. Pointy back toe. Just a simple V shape. Those are quite wide. I might make it a little slender. Yeah, it's a little tall. Those ones are perfect. I like these ones. Kind of slender V shape at the back there. Gotta outline my curly tail. That's the distinctive part of this butt. Yeah, so choose whether your curl is going over or under itself. There's my curl. The curl is going under itself versus this one came out in front. Yeah. Different curly tails. And what else do I have on my pig? I just have a few extra little lines wherever, down the legs, along his side, a couple extra little, quick little gesture marks, little lines. And that's all I'm gonna do on the pig. Now the llama, we make him fuzzier looking by doing shorter brush strokes kind of as we outline. They can overlap a little, there can be gaps. So it's like a broken line, but it makes him look fuzzy versus a smooth line for the smooth pig. And as I go down the legs where it becomes like a skinnier part of the leg, then I just end up going like a smooth line. I'll do a bit more of a hoof on this, so a little thicker along the bottom, but also that little bit of a V. A little bit thicker hoof, kind of like a horse has a thicker hoof. And really fuzz up that tail, make that tail really fluffy looking. And there could be a few black little gesture marks throughout, or just close to the edge, just to make them extra fluffy looking. More texture, the better, right? Thick ones, thin ones, doesn't matter. He's looking nice and shaggy. fill out someone's legs a little bit, maybe. That's pretty good. And then the cow, I did the cow smooth. Smooth outlines on the cow. Again, I'll give him kind of bigger hoofs with the black at the bottom, like a horse. Kind of a bad glare right there. That's a good angle. My cow has really knobbly knees, like arthritic almost. A little chunky. And tail, yep. My cow is swishing his tail to maybe get a fly off. Maybe we could paint a little fly. Maybe there's a little fly buzzing over here. Maybe a couple of flies. Couple extra little black lines here, maybe here, wherever. Knobbly knees. Oh, and the udder. Udder's got a little outline. There we go. Yeah, they just pop off the background more with some black outlines. I love that. Yeah, if you want to add other little black brush strokes here and there wherever you feel like. White, you can add a little bit more white here and there, wherever you want. Yeah, I think I'm good. I like how those look. We're doing great on time here. Just fun stuff. We got the white sunbeams and the fun flowers. So let's do the flowers. Flower blobs. Medium. Yeah, I might use medium. You could go small, like little tiny little, tiny little blobs. I'll just probably use like a little corner of my medium brush. For that, I'll give you another little bit more time on the outlines if you're still working on outlines before we do the flowers together. I could let me show you some upcoming events with me while you're still working on some lines. It does take a while. what do I got? Got some stuff nearby. So we do love putting on all these free events for you, such as this one at Safari Butts, and free events from other hosts, about one a week. We also do paid events, so those are on Zoom. You buy a ticket on our website, which is artistpaletteDurham.com. So I'll show you some examples of both free and paid. This one's coming up the 17th. Oh, that is soon. This one's in watercolor. This one's called Happy Campers, in watercolor on canvas for a change. So you'll get to learn how to do all 4 of those campers with me, whether you want to do them on a canvas or on paper. You could do 4 individual pieces of paper or 1 paper. So this one's coming up August 17th. It's a Thursday. Is that a week from today? What is the date? I don't even know. That one's coming up. All right, this one is another paid one on Zoom. Pumpkins and a field mouse. There's a little field mouse on the top there. 2 pumpkins. Fall's coming, guys. Can't wait for that. This one's going to be more than a month from now, September 23rd on a Thursday. Join me for that. If you can't make the live Zoom events and you've bought a ticket, you get the full recording of the painting. Everyone gets the recording. And we have some free stuff coming up. So I've got this one, which this one's fun. Any kiddos out there know what this is? I'm sure some adults know what this is too. Among Us. It's a game. I made an artist theme Among Us painting. So they've got artsy things on their heads as hats. So this one's going to be a free event. Wednesday, August 25th. Wednesday, August 25th. Free to attend this one. Join me. This one's an acrylic. Acrylic on the 25th of August. This one's in watercolor. This one's coming up free September 2nd. Watercolor on paper this time. Turtle Splash. Kind of like geometric shapes and then just fun dabs of watercolor. It's fun. It's loose, colorful. You could do any animal. You could change this to a dog, a rabbit. Just make it very blocky, geometric. Free here on YouTube, September 2nd. Join me for that. I have one more to show you, but it's in the corner. It's over here. In the distance, can you see it over there? Here it is. The autumn cat. He's so cute. September, I want to say September 30th. Anyways, more than a month from now. Lovely autumn cat in acrylic. That's a paid one on Zoom. If you'd like to join me for that event. All right, have you had enough time on your outlining, guys? I'm going to add some flower blobs and shapes, any colors. If you want to do purples and pinks and oranges, you can. I'm going to do some pink, and I'm going to do some yellow and some reddish down here. I'm going to use, I'll use my little brush for these little ones to start, and then I'll probably go to my medium. Get some pink. If you ran out of pink, you can make some more pink with white plus red. A little pink corner. So I'm going to do small dabs, and they're going to be kind of in this zone. In the distance. They're further away, they're smaller, and just literal dab, 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 dab. Different shapes, different sizes, dab, dab. Here's some pink dabs against the green. In the distance, so they're smaller. Yeah, they're not uniform sizes or shapes. I'm just doing Little, just press it against there, it makes a shape. That's the shape it wants to be. You can make little clusters together, don't have them all perfectly spaced out. Little clusters of pink flowers together, but all in this zone. So just below the sunflower zone is tiny pink flower zone. You decide how many. I'm going to go with that many. That's the perfect amount for me. Pink against the green. Give that a little rinse. Do I want to do red first or yellow? I'm going to go yellow. I'm going to do yellow next, but you choose the color you want to do. I'm going to use my medium brush for slightly bigger dabs. And I'm going to use my yellow and my yellow-white blend, so that my yellow is not see-through. We don't want see-through. Yellow and white blend. And I've got my yellow flowers kind of stacked. Maybe this is like maybe gladiolas or something. Stacked up like that. Just blob it on there. And then as I go up, I go smaller and smaller. And you can have some that are on top of your pinks. That's fine. Just don't think about it too much. You can have some that are like on top of your animals a little bit to make it seem like the flowers are nearer to us than the animals. These aren't meant to be realistic. These are the impression of flowers. They're in a meadow with lovely wildflowers. Do I want more? Yeah, that looks like a good amount of yellow for me. Thinking red. Purple would look nice here. More pink even, maybe white. There's lots of white wildflowers out there. I said red, didn't I? My red is also a little see-through when I just use plain red, so I'm going to add a little bit of white with my red, but not too much because I don't want it to turn like pink, pink, pink. A little white in there. I might add a little yellow too. Throw a little yellow in there so it's like an orangey, red. I don't know. I'm just making up a color here. See what that looks like. You can add a little blue if you want like purplier red. That's kind of cute. Let's see what that looks like. Oh yeah. And these I kind of just dabbed in all the gaps and stuff. I didn't really stack them like I did the yellow. But the ones that are close to the bottom are big and fat. Big fat ones near the bottom. If you're doing some a little higher up, a little bit medium, just to kind of help with the illusion of close-up flowers versus further away flowers. So big near the bottom. That's the only thing you need to remember. Just dabbing random blobby shapes. It could be on top of the hoofs a little bit because they're standing amongst the flowers. a little bit smaller in the distance. You can make this as full of flowers as you want. Mine's pretty full, so I want more. Not too many more, maybe that much. That looks good. That looks like a good amount for me. But go wild. Add some beautiful daisies. Add some beautiful lupin. Get some different colors in there. And then just the white sunbeams. White sunbeams. If you don't like the look of the sunbeams, you don't have to have them. You could do yellow sunbeams. You could do a yellow sun peeking behind a cloud. Yellow sunbeams. I'm going to use my medium brush, or you can use your smaller brush, your small little squirt. I'm going to use the medium, but of course I'm going to use it the thin way, not the fat way. I'm not going to do fat beans. I'll use the thin part. Very little paint. So I get some paint on my bristles. Then I'm going to wipe it on the edge. Kind of this side, turn it over, wipe this side, turn it over. So I have very little paint actually in the bristles. It's mostly scraped off. And my bristles are all kind of lined up, sort of straight. Pick a point for the beams to radiate from. They'll always have to start from the same point. So up, down, diagonal, sideways, but very little paint on my brush. So when I go get more paint, I wipe it on the side, scraping most of the paint off on the side. Scrape off both sides of the paintbrush. And these are meant to be wispy, almost see-through. These aren't thick, opaque. These are wispy, thin. All coming from the same point. Do as many as you want. So I think I have more on this one, less on this one. Kind of liking what I've got going on here. I don't want to do too many. A little bit more here. But yeah, I think I'll stop it at that. I'll keep it at that. That seems to be just the right amount. More here, maybe a little bit more white here. You could add other things. What if you want to add a flock of birds flying, a butterfly flapping by, a bunny in the meadow. What else? A bird perched on the pig. What if you want to add mud onto the pig? A bow around the neck of the llama. Personalize it. Add little details to make it your own. When you're happy with it, sign it. I like to sign the bottom corner. What color am I going to use today? I'm thinking yellow. Yellow. I like to sign the bottom corner with the initials. You could put your whole signature. You could put the date, the year. I love when kids will put their age, like Jimmy, age 7. I think that's adorable. Anything you want. Add some other details. Make this painting your own. I don't want to see 50 copies of this. I want to see this, but with something else added extra. A good place to share your photo of your finished barnyard butts. I'm going to make a post in Facebook on the Facebook event for this particular painting. So when we're done here on YouTube, head on over to the Facebook event, Barnyard Butts, and in the discussion we'll have a little post and you can see everyone's barnyard butts, your version of it. I'd love to see all of them. I want to see paintings from kids, from grandparents. I want to see the bad ones. I want to see the great ones. There's no bad ones. There is no bad ones. We do put on lots of free events for you guys. We do like tips. Who wouldn't like a tip? All your tips would go towards more art supplies for me, so I can keep putting on more free events for you. It's a win-win for everyone involved. I've got my email on there, kristenartist@hotmail.com, and the PayPal. So paypal.me/KristenArtist. Kristen's kind of spelt an unusual way. Chris 10, Kristen. AKA Chris, that's me. Yeah, I'd love to see all your butts. And then stay tuned for possible pet butts. What was it? Australian butts. Maybe we could do like a desert butt thing. Yeah, lots of fun. Ooh, what would be in the desert? Camels? Camels? Snakes? Snake butt? That'd be hard to do, a snake butt. Yeah, let me know in the chat if you have any questions at all about this one, about anything upcoming. Any questions at all? Let me know. If you fell behind a little bit, you can always watch this video forever. As soon as we end this live, the full video will be available on our page. Any questions? I'm not seeing any questions. You can also send, if you want to send me an email with a question or a photo of your work or other work that you've done. I like emails. KristenArtist@hotmail.com. Don't be shy. No questions for me, guys? None at all. Awesome. Well, I've done my job then. I've answered all your questions in advance. Well, I'm going to sign off of here. I'm going to go head on over to the Facebook page and set up that post, and we can share our results. And I'd love to see those. All right. Yep. I'm not seeing any questions. Take care, guys. Have a lovely rest of your evening, and make your own butt paintings. Don't have to wait for me to paint some butts. All right. Bye, friends. Happy painting.